Can we start the meeting now?
We have 5 people in the waiting room.
Okay, so
They are coming to the room.
so if everybody is in the room, maybe I could start the meeting now. Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sophie Yao. I'm a WiNI member for helping organize this innovation training. And at the same time, I'm a technical specialist with Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. First of all, I would like to thank you for your continuous participation for this innovation training session today. And this is week 3. Congratulations for all your hard work. This is, I will show you the presentation and you can see the schedule for today. So I will start the introduction, and then we will have 4 roundtable speakers. And after that, we have 15 minutes for Q&A session. And after that, it will be the workshop on how to pitch organized by Andrea. And after that, it's 20 minutes Q&A session. And at the end will be Alejandría to give the closing remarks and further announcements. We all know innovation is very important for our developing our organization. And we all come from different culture, different background, and different organizations. So how can we nurture, encourage, and promote innovation inside our organizations? So let's listen to the presentations from our roundtable speakers. So with me today, we have 4 excellent speakers from different organizations. As you can see from the slide, they are Yoko Kobayashi from Japan, Lisa McBride from GE Hitachi and WiNDI Canada, and Estelle Desroches from Cyclife France and WiNDI leader, and also Mike from Bruce Power. So each speaker, excuse me, will have 15 minutes to make your presentation. And I will give you a reminder when you have 1 minute left, just like this. Not sure if you can see it. And after all 4 speakers' presentation, we will have 15 minutes for Q&A session. And for participants, please type your questions in the chat. And I will coordinate responding the questions from the roundtable speakers at the end. So now let's welcome our first speaker, Yoko. Yoko is a board member of WiNI Global and a board member of WiNI Japan. She has worked for several organizations in the past, like TOSHIBA, TEPCO, Atomic Energy Society of Japan. So I will pass it to Yoko now. So Yoko, whenever you are ready, please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you for introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yoko Kobayashi. I work at the National Institute of Information and Communications Technology in Japan. AI is one of the modern innovations. Today, I would like to introduce all Japan's effort to apply AI to the nuclear sector. Sorry. Just a moment. Just a moment. Sorry. 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 While AI is an indispensable part of the industry today, due to its strengths, such as being able to run in almost every field. For example, free self-driving cars are now reality. In finance, AI helps with forecasting and support hedge fund investment decisions. AI research has been going on since the 1950s, but booms and winters have alternated, and it is currently in the spotlight as a third boom. Machine learning is a data analysis technology that makes it possible to acquire rules for judging unknown data by having a computer read a large amount of data and learn the patterns hiding in the data. Deep learning is a technology that enhances learning ability and data analysis ability by multi-layering the network. In recent AI development, deep learning is used as a mainstream method. The base model of ChatGPT is also deep learning. AI domain is based on advanced computer science technologies of processing data and creating machine learning systems. Recent innovations mainly consist of a combination of deep learning models and data science methods. With the spread of IoT, a huge amount of sensor and log data has been accumulated, and the utilization of big data is expected. Big data is also very important in AI learning. Next is the applicability of AI to the nuclear sector. This figure shows the fuel cycle of a nuclear power plant. Even if limited to the fuel cycle, AI can be applied to various processes to the fuel cycle. For example, by applying AI to plant design, optimization design can be achieved efficiently. As another example, by applying AI to plant operations, it is possible to achieve highly reliable and efficient operations. The reload core design of nuclear power reactor is one of the complexities in core fuel management tasks, especially the optimal location of the assemblies in the core and the optimal control load pattern as a function of cycle exposure need to be determined at the same time in a BWR. The core design optimization problem is much more complicated. The design cost can be greatly reduced by optimizing the loading pattern using reinforcement learning and deep learning, which are one type of AI. Manual loading pattern optimization by skilled engineers usually takes about 1 or 2 weeks. Automatic optimization using AI takes several hours of CPU time. The electric power demand forecasting is a service that forecasts the amount of customers' electric power demand for each power area. The electric power demand is greatly affected by variety of weather elements, including temperature, humidity, solar radiation, rainfall, and snowfall. By analyzing the characteristics of past electric power demand based on variable factors such as social activities and weather conditions, and combining the skills of weather forecast specialists with AI, highly accurate power demand forecast can be realized. This table shows the capabilities of the system. The forecast error is in the 1% range. The introduction of this system has made it possible to reduce the work time required for conventional demand forecasting, and it is useful for efficient supply and demand management. Phased array ultrasonic has been applied to inspect tube sheet weld joints in heat exchangers used in plant. In order to determine the presence or absence of defect in large number of welds, inspectors have had checked more than 1 million scanned images. An instrument is inserted into the pipe end weld, and ultrasonic beam is propagated at various angles to acquire inspection images. By analyzing the acquired inspection images with AI, the presence or absence and position of defects can be automatically detected with high accuracy and in short time. The automatic judgment system has reduced the judgment time by about 80%. The inspection cost was reduced by about 2/3 compared to the conventional method. There are 151,000 kilometers of ground power transmission lines in Japan, and conventional inspection work was mainly done visually using high magnification scopes and helicopters. An object detection sensor that can be mounted on multiple drones has been developed. A camera-equipped drone automatically flies and takes pictures of abnormalities in power lines at the optimal angle of view. All analysis of the correct data provides the information necessary for various solutions such as inspections, security, and logistics. In the past, transmission line inspection work required a huge amount of work time and advanced technology. The introduction of this system has reduced in significant efficiency improvement and cost reduction. Large quantities of radionuclide were released into the atmosphere after the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident in March 2011. 12 years after the accident, the ambient dose rate has been decreased. Airborne radiation surveys are being conducted to measure the environmental distribution of air dose rate after the Fukushima accident. The air dose rate maps created by the Airborne Radiation Survey are used for emergency monitoring data and to determine the evacuation route of inhabitants. Thus, the reliability of the created air dose rate must be evaluated. New conversion method using the AI was developed to improve the accuracy and the analysis time of the survey. The big data of the airborne radiation survey that we acquired after the Fukushima accident was used as the AI training set. The dose rate map made by the AI method produced ground-based survey result much better than the traditional method. This is still in the research stage and needs further improvement. The approximately 100 km of piping used for each advanced BWR plant. This automatic design system using AI was developed to support high-speed route plans and manual arrangement adjustment for their piping, air conditioning duct, and cable trays. By utilizing this system, it is possible to shorten processes, reduce amount of materials, and dramatically reduce the cost of plant construction. This system uses a hybrid method that combines root search program, employing genetic algorithms with deep learning in order to learn the three-dimensional computer-aided design data of exciting plant, thereby enabling the design of piping routes while taking advantage of previous design know-how. As you know, ChatGPT is currently attracting attention for remarkable capabilities. ChatGPT is based on a model called Transformer, which is one of deep learning. By using ChatGPT, the following can be expected: improving productivity, improving business processes, creating business ideas, work style reform, and software development and debugging. Depending on the idea of utilization, if the digital and AI literacy within the organization can be improved, the competition of the organization as a whole can be expected to be improved. This is a summary. The third AI boom brought great changes to society and companies. Innovations in the areas of image recognition, natural language processing, and data analytics have transformed the way companies do business. By automating work with AI, productivity and reliability will improve at once. In addition to simply improving efficiency by combining AI with technologies such as the IoT and the cloud, it is possible to realize new business and new service that have never existed before. AI is indispensable for the realization of digital transformation. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Yoko. For participants, if you have any questions, you can type in the chat and we can collect your questions later on after all speakers' presentations. Yoko, your presentation definitely presented some hot topics, you know, even the ChatGPT, the impact of AI on innovation is definitely very important, you know, from now and to the future. So our next speaker, Lisa, is going to present innovation from a different perspective. So now let's welcome Lisa McBride. And Lisa is the country leader of GE Hitachi's SMR Canada business. She's also the president of WiNI Canada. So Lisa, the floor is yours. And I will just going to open your video from my computer now.
For sure. Thanks so much for inviting me to join you this morning. I do want to start with this video. So hopefully Sophie's the magic behind this. So.
Sorry, I will stop sharing again because I didn't include the sound.
Okay.
Ideas are scary. They come into this world ugly and messy. Ideas are frightening because they threaten what is known. They are the natural-born enemy of the way things are. Yes, ideas are scary and messy and fragile. But under the proper care, they become something beautiful.
One
Thank
day,
you, Sophie.
machines will be sprayed.
So that is sort of a video that obviously we have internally here at GE that sort of reminds me kind of how we got where we are on our journey in terms of innovation. So I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach and really talk about how we foster and nurture innovation. So I do have a couple of slides just to keep me on track. So a little bit about GE, for those that might be familiar. We've been actually operating for 130 years. So we have a long history in innovation in electricity generation and transmission, but also in healthcare and aviation. But obviously I'll focus on our efforts in terms of our nuclear footprint. This is a little shot of Vallecito's Nuclear Center, which was built in 1957 and is the first boiling water reactor that we deployed 66 years ago. And so, you know, when I look at kind of this kind of 10 years, or sorry, 60 years ago and 10 iterations of our design, we have certainly come a very, very long way. This is what our reactor looks like today. This is our BWR-X 300, BWR being boiling water reactor, X being the 10th generation of our boiling water reactor, and 300 megawatts. And, you know, in 66 years, we have been innovating and iterating on our design to the point where we're at the 10th generation of our design. And the way we do that, I think, is something unique and special. And it's really ingrained in the culture of our organization. We wouldn't get where we are today having 10 iterations of this design without being able to foster and nurture innovation in the organization. And the thing that I think that, you know, I really liked about that video with the idea is that, you know, the line where it says, you know, ideas are sort of the natural born enemy, excuse me, of the way things are done. And I think, you know, we can easily fall into that trap, in that space where it's comfortable, where we know how things are done and we like how things have always been done. But that's so counterintuitive to trying to be an innovative organization. There's a couple of things that I think we instill in the organization to foster innovation at work. Courage is one of those things. I think it's really important to foster and nurture employees who are courageous in sharing their ideas. It can certainly be scary to share a new idea, particularly when it's something different than the way we've always done it. And it takes a lot of courage to really kind of, and perseverance to stick with that, because we can certainly meet resistance and the yeah but case, as I call it, right, where we have folks who really like the way things are done because it's comfortable and it's safe, but you know, the yeah but doesn't support us. Certainly culture is a big part of having the ability to innovate, having a culture where teams understand who their customers are. And I think it's different for all of us, and it depends on where you work in the industry. It depends where you work within your organization, but really understanding on whose behalf are your efforts devoted? Who are you innovating for? Is it internal process within the company? Is it external? Is it customers? You know, for us, we're a commercial business, so certainly we look externally quite a lot, but we still need to think about how we innovate internally to make processes more simpler and more streamlined. But I think that's one of the big pieces, understanding who your customers are and understanding from a market perspective, what is it the market is looking for. And today, when we think about climate change, clean energy, and the goals that we have ahead of us, for us in the nuclear business, it is about finding ways to get clean electricity to the grid safely, but faster than what we've done before. Certainly within culture is having an engaged workforce. You know, you won't have innovation, you won't be successful at innovating if you don't have high levels of engagement from your team. And that's, you know, really about understanding kind of the challenges that they face and making sure that we address them, making it safe and comfortable for people to innovate. That's something that we do here, giving people the space and time to think about ways that they could do things differently. We can all get very caught up in our day-to-day work and the things that keep us busy. And if we're busy from the minute we walk through the door until the minute that we leave, then that doesn't leave any time for free thinking, doesn't leave any time to work with other teams to think about, you know, how could we do something different? I think, you know, when it comes to that engagement, particularly when it comes to innovation, it really is important to make sure that it's a safe space for people to innovate. It's a safe space for people to bring their ideas forward, recognizing not every idea is going to get picked up. I think we've, you know, all seen that, where there are ideas that, you know, come forward and they don't, they aren't necessarily successful, but you know, I think that's one of the things they say about the word fail, right? Fail in English, F-A-I-L, is first attempt in learning. And so really understanding kind of what it is that we're learning. And then, of course, lastly, providing support for our teams, support for those around you to think about those new ways and encouraging new ideas to the table. And so, you know, when I think about our history in nuclear, 66 years, it's an exciting time. We wouldn't have been able to get where we are when without significant innovation. And just recently, we passed a milestone here in Canada for the nuclear power demonstration unit, and GE was part of the nuclear demonstration unit dating back to 1962. So just over 60 years of that unit coming online. And the nuclear power demonstration unit in Canada actually formed the basis for the CANDO fleet. And so, you know, was really kind of the impetus for innovation in the nuclear industry here in Canada. And the fact that we were part of it so many years ago and now are part of the next chapter of nuclear here in Canada and supporting a clean energy future is really, really exciting. And so, Sophie, that's those are my remarks in terms of how we foster innovation. Happy to take any questions or support the discussion a little bit later on.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for your presentation. So wonderful. You talked about innovation at work from the 4 perspectives, like courage, culture, engagement, and support. I think this is all important for every organization. So thank you very much for your presentation. So if participants have any questions, you can type in the chat and we can we can respond to the questions at the end of the all 4 presentations. So now let's move to our 3rd speaker, Estelle. Estelle is currently the CEO of Cyclife, and she's also the godmother of WiNDI. WiNDI is a Women in Nuclear Decommissioning Initiative, supported by EDF. Estelle, I'm going to open your presentation, then you can start from there.
Hello everyone. Just waiting for the presentation.
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
So I can start waiting the presentation to tell you that I'm delighted to be here with you for this roundtable about innovation in different sectors of the nuclear industry, and to talk about the way we implement innovative and disruptive approaches in the sector which have been working for more than 15 years now, the end of life cycle of nuclear facility, dismantling operation and waste treatment, a field which cannot naturally bring you to think about innovation, but you will see that in fact it's a big playground for creativity. Next slide, please. Before talking about innovation, I think it's interesting to reiterate and to reshare the challenge we have to face in this sector. On that slide, you have key figures to illustrate the challenge we have to face. To date, over 200 nuclear reactors worldwide have been shut down and have to be dismantled. And to this, we have to add the dismantling of other facilities of nuclear fuel cycle, such as fuel plants and research facilities and so on. Moreover, whatever choice which will be made in terms of transition and energy mix, and even if some reactor shutdowns are reconsidered for a while now, many other will follow in the next decades in France and abroad, as you can see it on the figures in that slide. At the same time, this decommissioning operation, oh, sorry, you were a little bit, we can move to the previous slide, please. Yes, thank you. Just to say that at the same time of decommissioning operation, you will have also a lot of operation concerning radioactive waste management. It's the next slide. For example, it is predicted that more than 1 million tons of metallic waste will be produced in Europe over the next few decades. So we have to find new solutions to recycle rather than stored, and to preserve both storage capacities and raw materials resources. So as a summary, in that field of dismantling, we have to face a huge growth of activity, which will require in the next years industrial and innovative answers. And it's very important to succeed and show that we know how to do it with effective and safe solution, as this is one of the key factors in the long-term acceptability of the nuclear power. So now we can move to our focus on innovation and why innovation is important in decommissioning and waste management. We can go to the next slide, please. You have some illustration which shows why it is important to integrate creativity and innovation in that field. So some might think that demolishing facilities or managing waste don't require much creativity. But on the contrary, you can see that dismantling nuclear facilities and managing radioactive waste is an ideal playground for innovation. In fact, we have plenty of reasons to invent. First, the reactors and the facilities we have to dismantle are very different. You can see it on those pictures. You can also certainly feel the complexity of the objects that we have to dismantle, particularly some special reactors such as graphite reactors or fast breeder reactor, which are particularly large with a very difficult complexity to handle. They are very compact, difficult to access to. So in that case, we need to imagine how we can put in place some way to dismantle. We have no standardized tools for a majority of this operation. As an example, the dismantling of the first graphite reactor in France will be a first of a kind in the world on this scale. So we have to imagine how to do it. We have also to face many uncertainties about the state of this very old installation, the environment in which we are going to intervene, and moreover, find solutions that enable us to carry out operation under safe conditions while avoiding worker exposure. And finally, because it's not a dreaming sector, innovation and technology co-development promotion is also a lever to attract people in a field which will need a lot of resources in the future. So you see that innovation is key for us. We can go to the next slide. So that's why in our organization, in Cyclife organization, we decided to put innovation as a purpose, as a principle of action, as a DNA of our development, to provide innovative and integrated solution for all this purpose. And you have also the chance to have a domestic market to try all these new processes and innovation on our own facilities. Cyclife today, it's more than 900 employees in 4 countries in Europe, 10 subsidiaries. Some of them are very classical treatment facilities for waste, but we have also 6 subsidiaries with design and execution skills that offer very innovative solutions, and particularly in the field of robotics and digital technology, which allow us to prepare and optimize dismantling. Next slide, please. As I said, in that organization, we try to promote creativity and innovation, and through tools, of course, but in any form, in our solution, in our organization, and in our teams. As part of Cyclife development strategy, we aim to provide our subsidiary with key skills and tools they need to develop and innovate, and especially Cyclife has integrated very early strong skills in advanced technology, technology which were not historically used for dismantling work, such as robotics, artificial intelligence, digital twins, and digital simulation. You have here 2 illustrations or 2 examples. On the left side, digital twins, which are currently developed by our subsidiaries, Cyclife Digital Solution. And on the other part of the slide, remote tools developed by another subsidiary, Graphitech, which has the chance to test all the tools in a dedicated center.
Hi, can I get a venti iced matcha tea latte?
Venti iced matcha tea latte.
Please mute if you don't speak. Go ahead, Estelle.
Okay, so I go ahead through my 2 examples. On one side, the digital tools, and on the other side, robotics and a test center on physical mock-ups. So you can see that on our model, digital innovation and robotics play an important role in D&D activities. It allows us to improve efficiency, to optimize dismantling scenario, but also to prepare operators for unexpected solution and avoid the work stop during the works, and also to train operators and to enable stakeholders to work together through these tools. But it's not the only way to innovate. I was very interested in Lisa's presentation showing all you need for innovate, and in our organization it's the same. You can go to the last slide. We have also a principle which is to take the best from other industries and to work with startup research institutes and non-nuclear partners through call for projects. And it's very interesting to adapt solution they can propose for our project, and to build also synergies with them or between our subsidiary. An important point is the promotion of innovation and idea coming from our employees. That's why we put into place innovation challenges and awards. We also put in place what we call hackathon to develop software in an agile mode after lean management in our industry. And finally, I'm completely convinced that team diversity is a vector of creativity, and completely committed to broaden team composition. So innovation is the result of all these principles, and I would be delighted to talk to you about how all these factors contribute to innovation in our sector, and to answer any question you may have just later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Estelle, for your presentation. Thank you for talking about innovation from decommissioning and waste management. As you know, we can always find innovative solutions from every phase of nuclear fuel life cycle management. So now let's move to our last speaker, Rinker. Mike is currently the Vice President of Regulatory Environment and Sustainability at Bruce Power in Canada. And Mike, I will just open your presentation.
Thanks, Sophie.
It might take me some time to find out, but whenever you are ready, you can start talking.
Sure. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for that introduction, Sophie. I guess I should say good afternoon or good evening to others. I really appreciate the invitation to be part of this discussion, and I was pleased to see that we're all talking about innovation in different ways, so we all have something to contribute that's slightly different. If we could go to the next slide, please, Sophie. So what I want to talk to you about today is I'll talk a bit about Bruce Power, which I think is quite an innovative organization. So some of the activities that we're undergoing. And then I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to talk a bit more about what it means to be an innovative organization and where individuals may fit into that role of supporting innovation at work and or wherever you may be. So Bruce Power currently is the largest nuclear generating station in the world. We have 8 large units located on the shoreline of Lake Huron, part of the Great Lakes in Canada, but in shared waterways with the United States. And part of our business, a large part of it, is producing medical isotopes by exposing cobalt and other isotopes, lutetium, to neutrons, and providing application for medical sector. Next, please, Sophie. So in Ontario, there is a plan to get to net zero by 2050. And if you look on this graphic on the right, you can see nuclear has a big role already in providing clean energy. And in fact, the grid, the electrical grid in Ontario is fairly low carbon with wind, hydro, nuclear, other renewables, and only a very small portion relying on gas. But if you could consider where net zero needs to go with a number of other energy sources, such as cars or other vehicles or other industries that require carbon energy, to be net zero, that needs to get replaced by other forms of energy. So there will be very large growth of energies, of the energy sector in Ontario. A part of that will be nuclear, where the province has indicated, currently with the Pickering, Darlington, and Bruce Power nuclear generating sites, we have a roughly 12,000 megawatts of electricity, and the province is hoping that we'll build almost 18,000 more megawatts of electricity. So just from nuclear, a similar growth in hydrogen energy. So there's a lot of work to do, very innovative work that need to be done in Ontario to reach this goal. Next, please. Currently, we have 8 operating units. However, 6 of these units are nearing end of life. And so we've commenced into something that is called a major component replacement project. It's the largest infrastructure project that is occurring today in Canada. Other nomenclature would be it's a refurbishment project where we're updating and reconstructing our existing units to provide clean energy until at least 2064. So the status is we have Unit 6, which the work is near complete. We're starting commissioning, and we hope to return Unit 6 back to service in the autumn of 2023. And Unit 3 has come down, and refurbishment, major component replacement has commenced. If you could imagine the amount of activity is happening where you have 8 units, nuclear units, and 2 of them are under major construction activities. So there's a lot of work happening at Bruce Power at the moment. Next, please. This is the workforce. I'm the one in the white hat. If you can find me by the end of the presentation, Sophie says you'll get an award. And so this is a team that is required to help move Unit 6 into our return to service. And I would say, if you can imagine the day-to-day works, the meetings, the challenges that are faced on an hourly and daily basis, and there's a requirement to have this workforce to be working creatively, systematically, following procedure, and trying to do things in a way that makes this unit return to service on time and on budget. Thank you. Next, please. We have another project that we're working on called Project 2030. And the goal of this project is to increase the energy output of our existing fleet post-construction, so post-MCR. The scale of the electricity that we think we can produce simply by adding efficiencies and innovations to our existing fleet is the equivalent of 1 large reactor or 2 or 3 SMRs. So innovation is allowing us to produce 2 or 3 SMRs worth of new clean energy without constructing anything, simply by updating materials, updating equipment, thinking of new ways to do things. And this is really extremely important for us. It's a lot of clean energy. It doesn't require the risk of building something new. Next, please. We're also considering building new to help Ontario meet its demand of almost 18,000 new gigawatts of electricity, 18,000 megawatts of electricity. And we have the space, we're on the grid. So Bruce Power is considering whether we should be part of that investments and build new reactors as well on site. These could be large, they could be small. We don't yet have a project, but we are certainly in the game and thinking about what we can do on our site. Next, please. And from an isotope production perspective, lutetium is a new business venture that we entered into commencing in the fall of 2022, where we produce lutetium. It's an isotope that fights off prostate cancers and other types of cancers. We've done this in collaboration with the indigenous peoples whose area our facility resides. And so that was an innovative business model that we brought forward. In addition, we provide about 40% of the world's cobalt. So you can imagine going to a doctor's office or a dentist, and they open up that plastic ware and they pull out a piece of metal that's been sterilized. It's 40% chance that that's been sterilized by cobalt from our facility. Next, please. And so this is what it means to be I believe, a very innovative company. And you might wonder, what role does an individual like us have to play here? And it's I think it's pretty significant, because innovation is more than just having innovative projects or innovative types of work. It's being innovative in our day-to-day lives. And I think that that's really the take home, is you become an organization like Bruce Power if you can be innovative in your day-to-day work. So what is innovation? There's a few definitions that I found. Doing something new, successfully implementing a new idea. In general, it means it's more than just new products, right? It's doing things differently to do things better. And I think that we can do that every day that we're at work. Next, please. It's important that that we help create what is called an innovative culture, and this is the management of your organization can create that, but so can individuals, right? Where you encourage others to come up with ideas or different ways of doing things, and then we reward that sort of behavior. It's important to recognize you reward that behavior, not the outcome of that behavior. So sometimes failure will happen, right? And you can still reward that sort of behavior. It's really important to have a questioning attitude where questions are valued, to stimulate discussions about different ways that we do things, and that your meetings or when you visit somebody in their cubicle, that it's psychologically safe to raise questions and to say, are we really doing this because it's the right thing to do? Or are we doing this because we've always done it this way? So to challenge the norm, to move away from the status quo. That is having freedom to do that, and doing that receives reward and success. That's having an innovative culture. Next, please. I think diversity, equity, inclusion has a very important role in inspiring innovation at work. We need different backgrounds and different perspectives, different points of view, and that enables a richer and more diverse conversation. If you can imagine a very homogeneous group of individuals who have similar ideas, you're not going to be very innovative within that perspective. So you need to welcome people who have come from different backgrounds and different experiences to come up with different ideas and to share and determine what those are in order to be innovative. Next, please, Sophie. And I want to do this to illustrate this, just to consider that there's some people that are naturally disruptive innovator, and there's other people who are very successful because they're comfortable with what they're doing and they're very focused on success. So there's two types of there's probably more than two types of personalities, but I'm doing this for illustration. Like a disruptive innovator is someone who challenges the status quo, always asking questions, thrives during change, and seeks to find better ways of doing things. And that's their force, and that's where their energy comes from. However, they're usually not the best implementer of those ideas. They're the creator. Other individuals may be very outcome focused, right? Change interferes with getting the job done. They're task oriented. They want to meet deadlines. They're comfortable working within procedure. So they may not be the best innovator. However, a good creation of ideas requires that rule follower to get it done. Right? And so it's important to engage with people who have different strengths and different talents or different strengths than you do in order to take an innovation and have it implemented successfully. And to avoid what's on the bottom where I wrote, we tend to be attracted to people who are similar to us, right? Because they get the idea you're trying to share, or they always seem tuned in, or you seek easy alignment. But that's probably because they're the same type of person that you are. They might be the rule follower, they might be the disruptive innovator, but so are you. And to be successful, you need both, right? You need difference. Yeah, I think I will leave it at that. We need diversity and these different types of strengths in order to innovate and to implement these ideas. Next, please. And so on my last slide here, I think this is what would be the characteristic of an organization where there's engagement. So the leadership is very clear on their goals. They communicate well with their staff, and everyone knows where we're going. But if you have high engagement and great leadership, but you don't have a culture of innovation, there's a loss of potential, right? You have a good opportunity, but you're not taking advantage of it. And I'm staying on the top row, lost potential. If we have a very innovative culture where it's encouraged and rewarded, and people are aligned to where the organization needs to go, that's the best. That's the high performance creative engagement. But there's a problem if you have, and I think this needs to be highlighted, if you have an innovative culture where people are coming up with very good ideas and trying to implement them, but there isn't really strategic alignment or engagement where the organization needs to go, you're at high risk because you're not focused. You're coming up with innovative ideas that aren't in the direction that company may be wanting to go. And so you'll end up with people working on a lot of different improvement initiatives or innovative ideas, but aren't aligned on the next steps where the company will be. And I think that's important, that you need both a focus or driven where the organization needs to go, and you need that high innovative culture, innovative ideas to be rewarded, expressed, allow for failure, and to move ahead. So I think I'll leave it with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mike, for your presentation. I like how you talk about innovation from different perspectives, accommodating the difference of disruptive innovator and rule follower. I think for an innovative organization, we need people from the diversity background, different types of people. Yeah, so thank you very much for talking about innovation at Bruce. So this is all about the 4 presentations. Thank you very much. The 4 speakers, Yoko, Lisa, Estelle, and Mike. So just to recap the 4 presentations, then we will go to the Q&A session. And also there will be a little bit change of today's today's training session. We have some like emergency from the coordinator, Andrea, for the workshop on how to pitch. Actually, right after the Q&A session, it will be Andrea who should chair the workshop. But because of the emergency, we're not going to have the workshop. I think we will have the Q&A session, but right after the Q&A session, we will end the meeting today. Okay, just a heads up for you. So give you a recap of the 4 presentations. Yoko talked about AI, the impact of AI to innovation. Lisa talked about innovation at work from 4 ways: the courage, the culture, engagement, and support. Estelle talked about innovation from the perspective of decommissioning and waste management. And Mike introduced the Bruce Power and also talked about how innovation is encouraged at Bruce. So I will go to the chat and I will read the question, and I probably will ask the roundtable speakers to respond. So just give me 1 second and I will go. Yeah, so the first question is to Yoko. So thank you, Dr. Yoko, for your lovely presentation. as a regulatory inspector, please talk about areas where AIs can be applied to improve the inspection of radiological and nuclear facilities for greater efficiency. So, Yoko, whenever you are ready, and
Yes.
you can respond to that question.
AI can be applied in many fields. First, there is automation and efficiency. Then there is the prediction and prevention. AI can analyze large amount of data to support patterns and trends. I think this is probably applicable to radiation facilities, and I think that autonomous systems and robots are also capable of working in a radiation environment. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Yoko. I don't know if the other three speakers, you have anything you want to share with us? Lisa? No? And Mike? Estelle?
Yeah, to complete what has been said, we use, of course, robots, drones, and so on to do radiological characterization. And it's very interesting also to put all the data in digital twins to use them after to do some simulation of the future operation and to calculate dose rates and so on, and to optimize the scenario. It is something that we develop on decommissioning field.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to the next question. So this is, I'm interested if, this is a question to Lisa first. I'm interested if you have any best practices for fostering engagement with so many remote workers and teams in different places.
Yes, that can certainly be a challenge. I guess I would say a couple of things. One, I think, working remotely means that you actually have to invest additional time to get to know people, especially when new people are added to the team. So I took this role in the middle of COVID and spent the entire first year working out of my basement office at home. And so when I was thinking about kind of how to build relationships, that means that it is a very focused effort. It doesn't happen as organically. So when we're thinking about innovation and people working remotely, I think it's a similar effort, right? I think it's about making sure that there's focused time for that, that you're connecting with people. I will say I have a rule for any virtual meetings that I'm on that are my meetings. It's cameras on. I want to see faces. I want to get to know people. I want to get to understand, their thoughts, how they're working. It's very difficult to do that when you just see a black box with a name in the middle of it. And so, this new kind of hybrid environment that we are faced with just presents some challenges, but I think it also presents some opportunities too. Not everybody thinks easily in a structured environment. Some of the best ideas I've ever had are driving home from work, just in my car by myself, listening to the radio. And so, while there are some challenges with the remote working and virtual working, I think it also creates some unique opportunities for people to tap into new ideas and thinking in a way, in a space, in a time that makes a lot of sense for them. I don't know if any of the other speakers want to add to that. Certainly working remotely creates a lot of conversation a lot of times.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. If other speakers, you have anything to share, please jump in.
I apologize to interrupt. Sorry, we are having an issue with our Zoom. So Florencia is going to put a link on the chat. And I sincerely apologize if we could go to this other room because we are having an issue on the background with this Zoom link right now. Florencia, could you put the link in the chat?
So you just want us to join a new meeting link?
Yes, yes. We are going to continue with the Q&A. We are just going to have to go to another link because we are having an issue here. And I know you are not noticing anything. But yeah, we need to go to the other session. And Florencia already put on the chat. So if all the speakers and participants could do that, please.
What about the questions? They are in the old chat. How can
we are saving the questions.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect.
So I'll be closing soon this session that the other group can start. Okay,
Okay, perfect, Florencia. If you can close the session.
And I'll inform Eva. Okay.